I would be content to live with you for the rest of our lives and not have a piece of paper, but it would sure make a huge difference to have the option.
Oh yeah, you have that option, you can do that. And it's okay.
I mean, I thought I would be like my parents. My parents were married for 60-some years until my father passed away. And that's what I expected to happen with me. And then at a certain point in my life, I realized I was not going to marry a woman. I couldn't marry a man, and so I just figured this was the way things would be.
To say that it was a traditional Catholic upbringing probably puts it mildly. It was probably a little bit more intense than traditional. My mother was 5 years in a cloister, and my father was 10 years as a seminarian. And neither of them ever took their final vows.
My parents divorced when I was very young, and so it was something that was really important to me to find a partner and have a family. I was able to adopt Alex when she was 6 months old in 1991 and met Paul in 1995. And it's been a wonderful life. I've been able to do something that I was not able to have in my own family.
When Smitty came back to San Francisco from Maryland and moved into my parents' house where I was living, I was not comfortable really having a conversation with my parents about who exactly Smitty was and what she meant to me. But my mother, you know, could see for herself what was going on, and she was not pleased. You realize how insane you were at the time, but it just, you know, it just didn't matter. It was just, we wanted to be together, and
It's what you do. I mean,
yeah.
Well, once Brad and I met and were living together, there would be people having commitment ceremonies and things like that, and I realized I didn't want that. I still wanted that marriage. It hadn't occurred to me that I wanted it until there became a possibility I could have it.
I just somehow instinctively knew that I didn't fit into that dream that other little girls were having.
Mm-hmm.
But once I met Smitty, I think that I did start to dream that way. And I did dream about a wedding, not a big wedding, not a big dress, but, you know, a small wedding, a tiny wedding with my family, just the people that, you know, I love the most in the world.
I figured we had from 8 a.m. when the registrar's office opened till 10:15 when the court could say no. We tracked down the marriage license, we shot it, and we dragged it home. It was not about romance, it was about getting married, and that was what we did.
And we didn't want Alex to come, actually. We were very concerned that there would be protesters, some ugliness, which there was. We very much wanted to protect her from it, and we weren't sure it was going to happen.
The news trucks are coming around, you know, like, oh, look, there's Channel 7 News, and Elizabeth would, like, turn. You know, what's the matter? She goes, well, you know, if my parents see me, I don't know how I'm going to explain that to them. So it was kind of a damper on the giddiness and the happiness of what we were doing, but standing there looking into one another's eyes and saying we were really doing this, I mean, it was just, it seemed natural, it seemed the right thing to do.
We're surrounded by hundreds, if not thousands, of people in City Hall, but essentially we were completely alone. Not a single family member was there, and immediately I was devastated. If I couldn't share the joy and the happiness of the most important day of my life with my parents, then I just didn't want to tell anybody. It was so depressing.
It was. That was hard.
And the guilt of putting Smitty in that situation, and that's kind of where it ended, and we really didn't tell anybody, and we didn't talk about it. It was truly nightmarish, I think. Several weeks later, they were invalidated by the state, and in a way, it was almost a relief to me.
Paul got on the plane and we were married, and he got off the plane and we were not.
But I have the little Note, I sent Bradley some flowers. For better or for worse, for richer or for poorer, in sickness and in health, no matter what the California State Supreme Court says, you are still my spouse for life. Your loving husband, Paul.
I literally ran to City Hall and got there and went right to the registration desk and said, I would like my marriage license.
We were rolling. We picked out the best spot we could find upstairs. It is 20 of our friends and probably 50 members of the press.
It was really overwhelming, but it was great. We had our family and friends there, and they were just so happy, and I was really happy. So
16 years ago, we were married in our minds already.
In a normal society, we would have done it a year after we met. To do it now 16 years later because somebody gives us permission to, just wouldn't be authentic, an authentic expression of our feelings for each
right.
other.
I mean,
so
yeah.
it's really about my nieces and nephews and their ability to, dreaming about their weddings right now, get to grow up and take it for granted that they can get married
Whether
to
they want
whoever they want
To whomever they want. But I would marry her. I'd marry her in a second.
We've always been a family. Getting married made it official. We get to enjoy the rights and responsibilities that every other person has. We just wanted what everyone else had. We wanted the equality. It doesn't matter what the courts do. It doesn't matter what they do to that piece of paper. You've made that commitment, that lifelong commitment. That to me has been the dream, to find a person like Paul to do that.